Between a stimulus and our response to it, there exists a space. In that space, we possess the power to select our response. Within our response, we find our potential for growth and freedom. This insightful statement by Viktor Frankl underlines the focus of this video, exploring the practical wisdom of Stoicism through 8 key principles for effectively managing and resolving personal conflicts and mastering the art of not expending energy on trivial matters. Watching this video will deepen your grasp of how these time-honored Stoic principles can guide you in navigating personal conflicts with grace, maintaining composure in adversity, and leading a more tranquil and content life. By shifting your perspective and concentrating on what is within your control, rather than external circumstances, you can become proficient in conflict resolution, minimize superfluous stress, and reduce anxiety. This shift in outlook has the potential to be transformative for anyone seeking peace of mind and personal development. If you derive value from this content, please subscribe to continue your journey into the world of Stoicism. As the Stoics would remind us, it's not the events themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about those events. So maintain a Stoic mindset, keep an open mind, and watch until the end. You may uncover life-changing insights. Lesson 1. Grasp what you can and can't control. One of the foundational principles of Stoicism is the notion of the dichotomy of control. It urges us to differentiate and acknowledge what falls within our sphere of control and what lies beyond it. By understanding this distinction, we can approach personal conflicts with a clearer perspective and a calmer state of mind. In any conflict, it's imperative to acknowledge that we have control over our thoughts, actions, and responses. We possess the capacity to choose how we interpret and react to the situation at hand. On the other hand, we cannot dictate the thoughts, emotions, or actions of other participants in the conflict. Consider a scenario where you find yourself embroiled in an argument with a close friend. It's natural to feel frustrated or hurt by their words or actions. However, Stoicism serves as a reminder that we cannot control their behavior or alter their perspective. What we can control is our response and how we choose to react. Recognizing the limits of our control liberates us from the burden of attempting to change something beyond our power. Instead, we can channel our energy into what we can influence, such as our own behavior, communication, and emotional well-being. Embracing this Stoic principle calls for a shift in mindset, demanding acceptance of the reality that we cannot control everything around us. This doesn't advocate passivity or indifference. Rather, it encourages a humble and resilient approach to conflicts. When faced with a personal conflict, take a moment to contemplate what aspects lie within your control and what lies beyond it. Ask yourself if you can change the other person's behavior or modify their perspective. If the answer is no, it becomes crucial to focus on what you can control, your actions and responses. For example, if a colleague continually criticizes your work, you cannot control their opinions or actions. However, you can control your reaction to their criticism. Choosing to respond with grace and professionalism not only diffuses the conflict, but also preserves your peace of mind. Understanding the dichotomy of control is liberating, enabling us to shed unnecessary stress and frustration. Redirecting our attention towards what genuinely matters, our character and intentions, cultivates personal empowerment and resilience. In summary, Lesson 1 from our collection of Stoic principles for managing and resolving personal conflicts underscores the importance of recognizing what falls within our control and what doesn't. By acknowledging the limits of our sphere of influence, we can refocus on our thoughts, actions, and responses, leading to a calm, accepting, and personally enriching approach to conflicts. Remember, as the Stoics would remind us, the only thing we truly have control over is ourselves. Sense of inner peace and alleviate the unnecessary suffering that often stems from external factors. When dealing with personal conflicts, the practice of detachment can be profoundly liberating. Many conflicts arise because we become overly entangled in other people's opinions, judgments, or behaviors. We often seek validation and approval, and when these are not forthcoming, conflicts ensue. Stoicism guides us to shift our focus inward, prioritizing our own intentions and actions over the quest for external validation. Through the practice of detachment, we come to accept that we cannot control how others perceive us or how they choose to act. Their judgments are shaped by their own perspectives, biases, and experiences. Instead of becoming ensnared in their criticism, we concentrate on our own principles and values, acting in harmony with what we believe to be right. Let's imagine you find yourself embroiled in a conflict with a close friend or family member. They may have criticized you or expressed disapproval of your choices. In this situation, the instinctual reaction might be to feel hurt, defensive, or angry. However, by practicing detachment, you can approach it differently. First, remind yourself that you have no control over how others perceive you or their opinions of you. Their judgments are products of their own viewpoints. Instead of becoming consumed by their criticism, focus on your own actions and intentions. Ask yourself if you have acted in accordance with your values and principles. If you have, detach yourself from their judgments and have confidence in your own judgment. Secondly, detach yourself from the outcome of the conflict. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of focusing on our actions rather than the results. Rather than obsessing over whether you can alter the other person's perspective or win the argument, concentrate on how you can communicate effectively, express your thoughts clearly, and show empathy. By detaching from the outcome, you can approach the conflict with a more level-headed perspective, reducing stress and anxiety. Moreover, practicing detachment allows us to let go of the compulsion to control external circumstances. Many conflicts arise from attempts to manipulate things beyond our control. By embracing the idea that we cannot control others' thoughts, feelings, or actions, we free ourselves from the burden of trying to shape the world according to our desires. Instead, we focus on what we can control: our responses, our attitudes, and our personal growth. The practice of detachment in personal conflicts also aids in the development of resilience and emotional stability. Detaching from the outcome renders us less vulnerable to the fluctuations of external circumstances. We don't allow the opinions or actions of others to dictate our inner state. This doesn't mean we become emotionless, but rather, we cultivate emotional resilience by concentrating on what genuinely matters: our own character and integrity. In conclusion, the practice of detachment in personal conflicts is a potent Stoic principle that can lead to greater peace of mind and more effective conflict resolution. By turning our focus inward, we detach ourselves from others' opinions, judgments, and outcomes. Instead, we concentrate on our thoughts, actions, and values. Through detachment, we learn to navigate conflicts with equanimity, reducing unnecessary suffering and discovering inner strength. Embrace the power of detachment and experience the freedom it brings to your personal relationships and everyday life. Lesson 4 introduces the Stoic practice of negative visualization, which is both intriguing and potent. This practice involves intentionally envisioning the worst-case scenario in various situations. Although it might seem counterintuitive, negative visualization serves as a robust tool for fostering gratitude, alleviating anxiety, and fostering a more realistic outlook on life's challenges. In our contemporary society, we frequently find ourselves preoccupied with apprehensions and concerns about what could go wrong. We consistently pursue success, happiness, and security, while seldom considering the prospect of failure, disappointment, or loss. This avoidance of negative outcomes contributes to an unrealistic and fragile mindset, leading to heightened stress and discontent. The Stoics recognize that by actively visualizing the worst-case scenario, we can more deeply value and relish the present moment. When we contemplate the potential loss of our most cherished possessions, whether they be our health, relationships, or material goods, we acquire a heightened sense of gratitude for our current blessings. This practice serves as a reminder of life's impermanence and the significance of cherishing each precious instant. Consider the following scenario. You're apprehensive about an impending conflict with a close friend. Instead of fixating on possible arguments or hurtful words, engage in negative visualization. Visualize the worst possible outcome, such as a complete breakdown of the friendship. Although this exercise might be uncomfortable, it aids in putting things into perspective. You come to realize that even if the friendship were to dissolve, you would still possess the strength to move forward and find happiness elsewhere. This exercise enables you to detach from the fear of loss and concentrate on the present moment of resolving the conflict. Negative visualization is also a powerful tool for reducing anxiety. By mentally preparing ourselves for unfavorable outcomes, we become better equipped to manage them if they were to transpire. We recognize that we possess the inner strength and resilience to navigate life's challenges. This shift in perspective empowers us and diminishes the fear associated with uncertainty, allowing us to approach conflicts with greater composure and rationality. Furthermore, negative visualization aids in gaining a more realistic outlook on life. Frequently, our anxieties are rooted in irrational fears or exaggerated expectations. By confronting and acknowledging the worst-case scenario, we can better assess the actual probability of it occurring. This practice helps us relinquish unrealistic expectations and return to the present moment, where we can focus on what genuinely matters. By incorporating negative visualization into our lives, we can cultivate a Stoic mindset characterized by resilience, gratitude, and a connection to reality. It enables us to appreciate the positive aspects of our lives, find strength in the face of adversity, and confront conflicts with equanimity and rationality. I encourage you to embrace this powerful Stoic practice of negative visualization. Dedicate a few moments each day to imagine the worst-case scenario in various aspects of your life. Allow yourself to feel the discomfort and then release it, knowing that you possess the inner strength to confront whatever comes your way. Through this practice, you will cultivate gratitude, reduce anxiety, and gain a more realistic perspective on life. If you found this lesson on negative visualization valuable, remember to click the subscribe button to continue exploring Stoicism's wisdom and its practical application in your life. Together, let's embrace the art of not giving undue concern in a stoic and meaningful manner. Lesson 5 delves into the Stoic practice of pursuing virtue, an essential principle rooted in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics firmly believe that genuine happiness is found in living a virtuous life guided by qualities such as honesty, justice, courage, and self-discipline. This principle holds profound significance, particularly when dealing with conflicts and preserving inner peace. When confronted with a personal conflict, our natural inclination might lead us to focus on the other person's behavior and actions. However, Stoicism encourages a different approach, turning our attention inward and concentrating on our own virtues. This involves embodying the best version of ourselves, irrespective of how others may act. Prioritizing virtue enables us to detach from the conflict's outcome and concentrate on what genuinely matters, our own character and integrity. While we acknowledge that we cannot control others' actions or thoughts, we recognize that we have complete control over our choices and responses. This empowerment allows us to approach conflicts with a composed and rational mindset, guided by the principles of virtue. For instance, imagine finding yourself in a heated argument with a close friend. The Stoic approach would involve focusing on being honest, just, and compassionate, regardless of the other person's behavior. Striving to express your thoughts and emotions respectfully and considerately, rather than resorting to anger or manipulation. Practicing virtue elevates us above the negativity and pettiness often associated with conflicts. It enables us to maintain our moral compass, act in accordance with our values, foster healthier relationships, and cultivate self-worth and personal growth. Moreover, the pursuit of virtue helps us avoid harboring grudges or ill will towards others. Instead, we aim to approach conflicts with empathy and understanding, recognizing that everyone faces their own struggles and shortcomings. In the quest for virtue, we also discover the importance of self-reflection and self-improvement. Stoicism emphasizes examining our actions and thoughts, questioning our motivations, and striving to align ourselves with the principles of virtue. This introspective practice enables us to learn from conflicts, recognize areas where we may have faltered, and identify areas for personal growth. By focusing on virtue, we release ourselves from the burden of trying to control external circumstances or others' behavior. Instead, we channel our energy towards nurturing our own character and leading a life of integrity. This not only brings us closer to inner tranquility, but also inspires others through our example. In conclusion, the pursuit of virtue is a potent principle in the realm of personal conflicts. By embodying qualities such as honesty, justice, courage, and self-discipline, we can navigate conflicts gracefully and maintain our inner peace. This Stoic principle serves as a reminder that our genuine happiness is not dependent on external circumstances, but is rooted in our character and choices. Thus, when confronted with conflicts, let us prioritize virtue, embody the best version of ourselves, and inspire others through our actions. Lesson 6 presents one of the most challenging principles in Stoicism, the concept of accepting what is. This principle encourages individuals to confront the reality of a situation and accept it without resistance or undue attachment to their desires or expectations. By practicing acceptance, one can discover greater peace of mind and act more effectively in resolving conflicts. In the face of a personal conflict, the natural response is often resistance and opposition. Negative emotions like anger, frustration, or sadness can overwhelm individuals, clouding their judgment and hindering productive communication. Nevertheless, Stoicism offers a different perspective, one that acknowledges the situation's reality and aims to work with it rather than against it. It's essential to understand that acceptance doesn't equate to passivity or surrender. Instead, it signifies recognizing that the conflict exists and acknowledging that certain aspects are beyond one's control, such as another person's thoughts or behaviors. By accepting this truth, individuals liberate themselves from futile attempts to control the uncontrollable and redirect their focus towards what they can control, their own thoughts, actions, and responses. To illustrate this principle, consider a common scenario: a disagreement with a close friend about a particular topic. Tension arises due to differing opinions. Instead of engaging in a heated argument or attempting to change your friend's perspective, acceptance encourages a more understanding and empathetic approach. By accepting the reality of your friend's viewpoint and acknowledging that you cannot force agreement, you can shift your focus to listening and seeking common ground. This change in perspective fosters compassion and opens the door to a more constructive dialogue. Acceptance also allows individuals to detach themselves from the need to be right, creating space for growth and resolution. It helps avoid unnecessary suffering because resisting reality amplifies emotional distress. Stoicism teaches that suffering stems not from external events, but from judgments and reactions to those events. Acceptance alleviates personal suffering and promotes a clearer and more rational mindset when approaching conflicts. However, acceptance doesn't imply resignation or indifference. It involves acknowledging the situation as it is, understanding one's limitations, and actively seeking solutions and compromises within those boundaries. It encourages adaptation and creative conflict resolution rather than being consumed by negative emotions or fixated on an ideal outcome. By integrating the principle of acceptance into one's life, the approach to personal conflicts can be transformed. It leads to letting go of the need for control and focusing on what genuinely matters: personal growth, understanding, and the quality of relationships. Through acceptance, emotional resilience, wisdom, and the ability to navigate conflicts with grace and integrity are cultivated. In conclusion, embracing Stoic principle number 6, accepting what is, empowers individuals to confront personal conflicts with clarity and compassion. By relinquishing resistance and aligning thoughts and actions with reality, greater peace, reduced suffering, and meaningful resolution can be achieved. Therefore, in the face of conflicts, remember to practice acceptance, as it is through acceptance that the doors to growth, understanding, and harmonious relationships are unlocked. In Lesson 7 of our Stoic principles for handling and resolving personal conflicts, the Stoics emphasize the importance of living in the present moment. According to Stoic philosophy, dwelling on the past or worrying about the future only distracts us from fully experiencing and engaging with the here and now. By directing our attention to the present, we can navigate conflicts more effectively and attain greater peace of mind. During personal conflicts, it's common to become entangled in past grievances or future worries. We might replay past arguments, harbor grudges, or seek revenge. Conversely, we might project fears and anxieties into the future, anticipating worst-case scenarios. The Stoics, however, advise against both dwelling on the past and worrying about the future. To embrace the present moment during a conflict, it's essential to cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness entails consciously focusing on the present moment without judgment. It allows us to objectively observe our thoughts, emotions, and sensations without being overwhelmed by them. Practicing mindfulness provides clarity and enables more rational decision-making, even amid conflicts. Living in the present also involves concentrating on the immediate task at hand when dealing with a conflict. It's crucial to address the current situation rather than rehashing past grievances or projecting future concerns. By staying attentive to the present, we can engage in constructive dialogue and work more effectively toward conflict resolution. Additionally, living in the present promotes gratitude and appreciation for what we currently have. Gratitude is a potent antidote to conflicts as it shifts our focus from what's lacking or what went wrong to the positive aspects of our lives. By appreciating the present moment, we can approach conflicts with a calmer and more compassionate mindset. Living in the present aligns with the Stoic principle of accepting what is. Acceptance doesn't signify resignation or passivity, but involves acknowledging and embracing reality as it is, even if it doesn't align with our desires. It allows us to release attachment to specific outcomes or expectations, thus reducing emotional distress. Embracing the present moment enhances our emotional attunement to ourselves and others. It enables us to listen more attentively, empathize more deeply, and respond more compassionately. This fosters better communication and understanding, potentially leading to more collaborative and mutually satisfying conflict resolutions. In our fast-paced, hyper-connected world, distractions and disconnection from the present moment are prevalent. We often find ourselves incessantly checking our phones, fretting about future events, or ruminating over past mistakes. However, by consciously practicing living in the present, we can reclaim our attention and invite more peace and fulfillment into our lives. In conclusion, Lesson 7 of the Stoic Principles for Addressing and Resolving Personal Conflicts reminds us of the significance of living in the present moment. By focusing on the here and now, we can approach conflicts with greater clarity, compassion, and gratitude. Living in the present empowers us to let go of past grievances and future worries, enabling effective communication and meaningful conflict resolution. Let us embrace the present moment and make the most of our interactions, for it is in the present that our power to shape our lives resides. Stay stoic, and may you find peace and wisdom in the present moment. In Lesson 8 of our Stoic Principles for Addressing and Resolving Personal Conflicts, we focus on the importance of self-discipline. Self-discipline is a cornerstone of Stoicism and plays a critical role in helping us maintain composure, make wise decisions, and handle conflicts in a stoic manner. Self-discipline in Stoicism involves mastering control over our reactions, emotions, and desires. It empowers us to respond to conflicts with poise, rationality, and integrity. While conflicts often trigger strong emotional responses like anger, frustration, or resentment, Stoicism teaches us that these emotions are not inherently caused by external events, but rather by our own judgments and interpretations. By practicing self-discipline, we can learn to manage and regulate these emotional reactions, allowing us to approach conflicts with a clear and calm mind. To practice self-discipline when dealing with conflicts, we must first become aware of our emotional responses. It's essential to recognize the initial stirrings of anger, irritation, or defensiveness and take a pause. In that moment, we should remind ourselves that reacting impulsively will only escalate the conflict and cloud our judgment. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Once we've taken that pause, self-reflection is crucial. We should ask ourselves if our emotional response is justified, or if it stems from a misunderstanding or bias. Stoicism encourages us to question our judgments and look at conflicts from a different perspective, allowing us to detach our feelings from our emotions and approach the situation with greater objectivity. Furthermore, practicing self-discipline means restraining our desire for immediate gratification and resisting the temptation to engage in retaliatory actions or hurtful words. Stoics believe that true power lies in our ability to control ourselves, not others. Instead of seeking revenge or trying to prove ourselves right, we should focus on finding resolutions that benefit all parties involved. Stoicism suggests several practical techniques to cultivate self-discipline. One such technique is negative visualization, where we contemplate the potential consequences of acting impulsively or allowing conflicts to escalate. By envisioning the negative outcomes, we gain perspective and are less likely to act impulsively. Another technique is mindfulness, which involves being fully present in the moment and aware of our thoughts and actions. By practicing mindfulness, we can catch ourselves in the midst of emotionally charged reactions and consciously choose a more measured response. Self-discipline requires ongoing practice and consistency. It involves making conscious choices aligned with our values and virtues, even when it's challenging. Stoics emphasize the importance of daily self-examination and self-improvement, striving to become better individuals each day. By mastering self-discipline, we gain a sense of inner strength and autonomy. We become less reliant on external circumstances for our well-being and happiness, and conflicts no longer have the power to disturb our inner tranquility. Instead, we've learned to navigate them with grace and wisdom. In conclusion, Lesson 8 in our list of Stoic principles for handling and resolving personal conflicts underscores the significance of self-discipline. Through self-discipline, we can regulate our emotional reactions, approach conflicts with rationality and integrity, and work toward resolutions that are fair and just. It empowers us to navigate conflicts with composure, maintaining inner peace amidst external turmoil. So embrace the lessons of self-discipline and remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength.